What's up, y'all? Let's get it cracking. We're going to look at the red zone plays. Not only the red zone plays, but a handful of plays prior to that, just so we can get a little bit of context of what we're dealing with when we go into these scenarios. Okay, cool. Let's run it for the cardio. Where we at? So I think the Cowboys did a pretty decent job of driving the football. We kind of get so caught up in the ending result that we don't really take a look at, the product as a whole. So we're assuming that the offense was terrible as we take a look at B's up top here. Simple little stick. B's going to run out. Cool, easy. Keep going. We get so caught up in the concept of the result. Just did we score here? Did we not score here? Oh, we didn't score here, then we were trash. I think we did a pretty decent job of actually moving the ball and getting in field goal range, getting positive yardage. We just didn't finish. Take a look at this play. So the last Beasley play put us in 2nd and 1, right? If you're in 2nd and 1, that's pretty easy to call plays from, So let's just run the ball to, try to convert. Let's see what we get. Well, I've seen this already. Zeke's gonna get stuffed in the backfield or whatever. And here's why. First of all, we get nasty penetration here from 90 and 92. The Colts were fully aware that we're having offensive line issues, and the reason I say that was because they played 2 1-techs a bunch. They left a lot of space between B and C, and they put 2 guys in A gap the entire time. The 2 gaps between the centers and guards here. So when we get Joe trying to get a solid down block here, he gets penetrated. Suafilo tries to get a solid down block. Gets penetrated. We're gonna pull the tight end to get to the front side. I mean, he ends up with one of these guys right here. But the big block that we're looking for is the one on the mic. And did we deal with A gap properly? No. Did we block the mic properly? No. So that results in a negative run play. So now you take that 2nd and 1, and now that thing is a 3rd and 4. Which is a whole nother run play, which is a whole different type of play than the different type of play call than 3rd and 1. If you just run 2nd and 1 and just kind of get stuffed and it's still 3rd and 1, then you kind of got some room to work with. But with it being 3rd and 4, it kind of forces you to throw the ball, kind of sort of, right? With this 3rd and 4, we decided to throw the ball deep to Allen Hurns. I don't necessarily hate the play call. But it's what we got. And people were getting on to Dak Prescott about his accuracy. Now, I'm not here to really point out, like pass interference or holding or anything like that. I'm not really here to point none of that out. I'm just here. Hurns was open. Hurns ain't really a burner though. You know what I mean? So I do think Quincy Wilson could have caught up to Allen Hurns if Dak would have put it directly in front of him. And you could tell, kind of like towards the end of the play, like Hurns was like catching up to him, right? So I don't mind the back shoulder throw here from Dak, okay? What I mean by that, Dak could have put the ball towards the end zone, but I think it was safer for Dak to put it back shoulder. Because the cornerback is playing behind Hurns and to the inside of him. So, of course, you want to put the ball in front and to the outside of Hurns. That's what Dak did. I just think that Hurns didn't find the football very well. If we fast forward to the cartel view, instead of Hurns kind of just flipping his head to the other side of his shoulders, finding the ball and catching it, Hurns did this move where he kind of slowed down, stopped and flipped and turned around. But man, Hurns, if you just kept running, you probably would have caught this thing, right? You probably would have caught it right there. If you'd have just, kept running, get your head to the other shoulder, find the football, and just go from there. I don't know. It is what it is, but that ends up being 3rd and 4 or something. I mean, 4th and 4. It ends up being 4th and 4, and the ball gets kicked. The kick gets blocked or whatever. As we get to the cartel view, it looks pretty funny, man. I think 91 was the one that actually blocked it here. Redmond gets whooped up on. He's on the right side here. Redmond just kind of gets whooped up on. I'm not here to say nothing about the rest, but they kind of beating up on my center. It is what it is. Suafilo's here. Yeah, okay. It was 96 that I actually got the. It was Archery that I actually got the block on. So yeah, yeah. And then the kick was probably low, man, because it ain't like Archery really jumped up in the air that much. So yeah, the kick was probably low. So yeah, you pair all that up and you kick it low, and Suafilo and Redmond get whooped up on, and that's our first, bunches. That's our first bunch of points missing. So let's move on. So we're in the next drive or so. It's like the 23-yard line. We're going into the red zone or whatever. Anyway, Zeke's gonna get a handoff. Fine, easy peasy. It's like a 1-yard gain. Why is it only a 1-yard gain here? 2-1 text again. I ain't mad at it. Once again, Joe and Suafilo are responsible for the down blocks, and Suafilo really gets beat pretty bad on this down block here. But whatever. Last time we pulled the tight end to go into space. This time we're gonna pull young Connor Williams here. Okay. So Joe and Suafilo basically get beat on the down blocks there. So Connor's gonna pull, and Connor gets blocks on. Connor block 53. Tyron also blocked 53. Hold on, let me stop and think about this. Down block. Maybe Tyron should have stayed wide to block 26, and then Connor blocked 23, and then we stay outside from there. Maybe that's the case, but who's responsible for this backside linebacker for 50? Okay, cool. Lael comes up and block 50. So yeah, Tyron Smith. Yeah, Tyron should have just stay on his path to block 26. But maybe Tyron, Tyron's an instinctual guy. Maybe he thought to get back inside to block 53 to keep 53 from blowing up the play. Maybe he thought Connor Williams wasn't going to get around this tight end here to get to 53 fast enough. But you see what happens here. Yeah, Z gets tackled there. So yeah, whatever. It ends up being like 2nd and 9. That's what it says right there. Is this the Bees and okay, cool. Yeah. So let's go immediately to cartel view, right? This is Bees right here versus your man's Darius Leonard. Darius is gonna line up to the inside to give Bees the outside leverage. He definitely wants Bees outside. He doesn't want Bees inside, but Bees is gonna take the inside here, right? Let's go ahead and run the play. You can take a look at Bees and we'll run back and talk about it. Speed it up, and we'll run back and talk about it. All right, cool. So just a lot to kind of think about here. Let me move my little remote out the way. A lot of little things to kind of think about here, man. Bees is gonna set up a little outside move to kind of work back inside, defeat the hands of Darius Leonard. Darius just does a great job of getting back inside. It's not a slant. It's actually a spot route. Yeah, Bees is actually gonna stop and curl this thing off, show his numbers to Dak, and try to get the ball here. So it's not so it's not like Dak could have at this point thrown the ball here. That wasn't an option because Bees is cutting off the route there. It's just that Darius Leonard did a pretty good job of getting back inside. People were telling me why didn't Dak get the ball in front of Bees so he can keep running the slant. Well, it wasn't a slant. It was actually a spot there. Bees was stopping, boom, getting around, but Darius Leonard did a good job of recovering there. So that's what happened there. It ends up being 3rd and 9. And Zeke converts that. Zeke actually converts to 3rd and 9, right? Big old dynamic Bees getting to the first down. My man's dropped the stick immediately. He ain't want no smoke with young Bees there. My man dropped the first down mark because he ain't want to get run over by Bees. Cool. Let's keep watching though. We get 1st and 10. Let me take a look at my 1st and 10, and we're on the 12 now. We're on the 12, and this Dak versus the blitz here. People were getting on to Dak Prescott about handling the blitz better, dealing with pressure. Well, I mean, I've been trying to tell people that Dak is constantly improving, even though they don't see the improvement. They just want to kind of fuss and fire people or whatever. Dak does a better job of picking who to go to when throwing into the blitz. I remember back in the day, Dak would probably try to get this thing to Blake Jarwin. Even though Blake Jarwin is open, Dak would still have to turn his shoulder, flip his hips, and get the ball to Blake Jarwin. But it's faster if you just get the ball out to Zeke. You know what I'm saying? And so he basically found the right guy. Dak basically he's finding the right people to get to get the ball out to in the face of the blitz. It's just that the Colts linebackers were just on it quickly. 50. Walker here. Walker did a great job of getting to Zeke once Dak got the ball out to him. And to be fair, people want to talk about this is where Cowboys fans piss me off, right? They get into the whole Dak shouldn't take sacks. He should stop holding the ball. He should get rid of the ball quick. But then they're mad when he starts to do dinky dunky stuff. Well, you got to pick one, fam. You got to pick one. If you want Dak to go downfield, you got to hold the ball longer. You want Dak to stop holding the ball so long, he got to get rid of the ball quick. And Zeke was the right guy to get the ball to at this point. So make your goddamn mind up. 7, I'm checking my notes here. So yeah, Dak versus the blitz. Yeah, this is that's just the cartel view of it. Anyway, so we're on to the next play. What's the down and distance here? 2nd and 6, and we're on the 8. All right, cool. Let's see what we got here. Down and distance on the 8. Hearns is gonna go in motion. Man's gonna go with him. We're gonna hand the ball off to Zeke. I ain't mad at that. I'm with it. Let's go straight to the cartel view. There they go with those 2 1s again. So my rule is that when we're running the zone, we have to deal with a gap, and we got to block the Mike linebacker. We got 2 A gaps now, so we have to deal with both of those guys. Do we do that? Yes, Suafilo deals with his guy pretty okay. Connor Williams and Joe Looney do a pretty good job combo blocking the first level, but Joe's got to get to the linebacker there. Joe's got to get to 50. And Joe actually climbs, he's just a little late. And 50 gets the angle on him, and he's the one that makes the tackle. If Joe Looney gets to the second level and block 50, it'll be Zeke versus 26 or so like that. And, maybe it would have been a score. I'm not here to say to be shoulda, coulda, woulda guy, but it's just part of the rules. We got to block a gap. We got to block the Mike. And Mike made the play there. Mike made the play. So now it's 3rd and 1. I think we basically get 2 plays to convert this 3rd and 1 because we're going to end up going for it on 4th or something like that. Let's see what happens. Zeke is going to go in motion. Okay, cool. This is the Olawale thing. Hey, man, there are some Cowboys fans here that are saying Dak should have thrown the ball better or in front of Olawale. Shut your ass up. Jameer's got to catch football right here, man. No excuses. I don't care. You can holler at Dak Prescott mess all you want to. We're going to fake the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. The defense goes with it. Jameer Olawale gets open. Sure, Dak probably could have put the thing in the back of the end zone. Jameer ain't a damn receiver. He's a fullback. That ain't even an excuse. Dak probably wasn't even thinking that. Dak was probably just thinking, get the ball out of my hands for one of these guys hit me. Cool. You put the ball on Jameer. All Jameer's got to do is catch the ball and fall into the end zone. Somehow the 80% made this Dak Prescott's fault. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Jameis, catch the daggone football and fall into the end zone. Fell right through your hands. Even if you go into the cartel view, even if you go into the cartel view, to be fair, Dak did kind of float the thing over there. That's fine. Dak's cool. You want him to throw a bullet to the fullback between these guys? Come on, man. Dak did a good job delivering the football, man. Jameis just got to catch it and fall into the end zone. If Jameis catches it, we say nothing about Dak Prescott. People make me damn sick. Now it's 4th and 1, and we go for it. And you get caught up in the back there. I think I have an explanation here. I actually thought about this when I watched it the first time. The backside. And when I say the backside, I mean, like, if Zeke is running left, then the right side is the backside. The backside was pretty dealt with for the most part. I blame this on Joe Looney here. So when we're running outside zones, which is different than inside zones, when we're running outside zones, which are sweeps, tosses, the little jet plays that we like to run or whatever when we're trying to get the ball to the outside. There's a different blocking technique that the offensive linemen use. We try to overtake the guy that's in front of us. We try to overtake the next man in the next gap. So if we're blocking left, Tyron Smith is going to block this guy. But that's clear. The controversy comes from the back four guys blocking the four defenders. What I mean by that is, how is Su'a-Filo, Looney, Connor, and Lael, how are they going to handle these four guys? So let's break it down bit by bit. Lael and Connor Williams are responsible for these two fellas here, and Su'a-Filo and Joe Looney are responsible for these two guys now, right? Let's take a look at Connor and Lael first. Connor and Lael, they're going to boom, boom, boom. Like I said, Lael is going to try to overtake Connor's block. And when Lael does that, it's Connor's job to climb to number 70. It didn't really work out in that way, but whatever. Whatever. The problem came from this cat here. The problem came from this young man. It was 2-1 text. It's 2-1 text. And Joe Looney, if you're the center, you got to do center stuff. And I know this because I played center and I did a lot of center stuff. You've got to look to the right and be like, oh, there's a one there. You got to look to the left and be like, oh, there's a one there. And you've got to communicate with Xavier Su'a-Filo and say, Xavier, this is not a combo. You need to climb directly to 50, and I have this guy by myself. No matter what this one tech does, Joe Looney got this dude by himself because there's no other way we can set the combo up. It's not like Connor can try to overtake Looney's man and Looney climb the linebacker because Connor has a one tech in his gap. Connor's covered. See what I mean? And Connor would have to leave this guy for Lael. So it's really a one-on-one block with Looney and this one tech, and he has to communicate that with Joe here. The problem is that he has to communicate that with Su'a-Filo. The problem is that when the one tech crosses Joe's face, Joe leaves him as if Connor is there to overtake him. Connor's not there to overtake him because Connor is covered. Connor got a guy in his gap. Now, if this one tech would have crossed Connor's face, Connor can leave. Why? Because Lael is there to overtake. This guy crossed Joe's face, but Connor can't be there because there's a guy in Connor's gap. So Joe just kind of let him go, right? And that's kind of where Zeke's first little hit comes from this cat right here. Not to mention this linebacker here that Su'a-Filo just kind of didn't get to. He just kind of ended up in the funk there. It just threw everything off, man. Su'a-Filo should have climbed to this guy. This is what should have happened, okay? Tyron got a one-on-one here. Su'a-Filo should climb immediately to this guy. Joe Looney blocks this guy by himself. Connor Williams passes this guy to Lael. Lael blocks him. Connor climbs up there. Backside is fine. That's what should have happened. But it didn't. Anyway, and let's turn over on down so the Colts get the ball. YouTube Illuminati is taking money away from your favorite content creators, and people often ask the best way to support the channel directly. I tell them that's subscribing to my Patreon. Just $1 a month would increase production and the frequency of uploads. Basically, that means more content for you. For less than a bag of almond M&Ms, you can support the channel, call dibs on requests for future videos, and you can have access to Patreon exclusive material like my throwback film sessions. That's patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. I appreciate the support. Doski Woski. Salute. I know I was pretty long-winded on that last go, but who cares, man? Sit through it. I probably made you football smart if you just listened to it. Anyway, it's the last little bit that I'm going to talk about. I think everything else was just kind of like around a 50 and on the other side, and I'll just do additional videos on that stuff. We'll just cross that road whenever we get there. What's this? 1st and 10? 1st and 10 on the 38? Cool. Let's run and see what happens here. Going to hand the ball off to Zeke. Zeke kind of runs to the back of a few people. What happened exactly? Did we deal with A-gap? Let's look at the front A-gap. He's kind of dope. That's the problem. Let's look at backside A-gap before I go back. Joe deals with that dude. What about the mic? Which one of these dudes is the mic? Strength over here. Boom. That's your mic right there. So 50 is our mic currently. Yeah, we ain't block 50 neither. So yeah, that's both your rules right there. So what happens here is we need Tyron and Redmond to move this dude all the way. Get him up out of here. We need Tyron and Redmond to move this dude, and one of them got to come off and get this guy. Young Connor Williams is pulling. He's supposed to pull and wrap to 53, but Connor can't get to 53 because there's so much A gap turmoil right here. So that gets clogged up. Connor ends up blocking our own tight end, and the Mike and the one tech that we couldn't block ends up making a play here. That's pretty nasty. It ends up being 2nd and 9. We'll keep running it. And okay, this is the Noah Brown play. So let me move my little remote out the way. The Noah Brown play. Sure. Sure. It's just we just didn't connect there. We just didn't connect. The ball actually hit Noah in the hands, actually. But there was a lot of contact there. Not really here to say, what pass interference. I'm not here to say none of that or whatever. But the ball kind of hit Noah in the hands, and it was kind of, he kind of ended up out of bounds. I think if he would have caught the ball, he would have ended up out of bounds anyway. So should Dak have put it more in front of Noah? I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because look at where Noah starts off. He starts off right outside the numbers, and he keeps working. He's not really fighting inside at this point, right? Noah Brown's not fighting to work his way inside to give himself more room. Noah Brown is going straight to the sideline, and he actually steps out of bounds right there. So I think even if he would have caught it, if the referees are adequate enough, they probably would have just hit him on that anyway. I mean, I don't know. He may or may not have been out of bounds. I don't know. But he didn't give himself a lot of room to work with. He just kept working and working. And before you know it, the sideline's right there on you. If Noah Brown would have just put a little more body into the corner and kept stacking instead of fading, Noah could have had a little more room there. But Dak put the ball right on him, hit him right in the hands, but we just couldn't connect. Whatever. What was the protection like? 30 creeping up, 30 gets up out of there. Okay, cool blocks up front. Decent protection up front. Now that we got the cartel view. Noah Brown, hey, maybe. I don't know. But it ends up being 3rd and 9, though. It ends up being 3rd and 9. Let's see what happens. This is another scenario where Cowboys fans want to look Voch in the face and piss him off and be like, Dak took a sack there. Why is he holding the ball too long? Well, who would you throw to in this scenario? Let's just see who you would throw to. I want to be long-winded, too. Matter of fact, I don't want this to be fast. I want to be long-winded. Let's look up top. What about up here? What we got? Boom, boom, boom. Get to the inside. Linebacker kind of covers all that up. All right, cool. What about this guy? What about your slot there? What about your slot? What's he doing? Oh, we drop a guy there. End up, cut that off. What about your guy down here? What about your receiver down here? What's he gonna do? By Young Gallup, that is. That's Young Gallup. Okay, cool. He's gonna turn into okay. We got right there. What about your tight end there? What about your tight end's pretty covered up too. All right, cool. So now let's look at the protection and see what happens here. Somebody say, well, why don't you throw the ball out of bounds? Well, I think that's grounding if you don't get outside the tackle box. Well, maybe that wasn't an opportunity to get the hell out of the tackle box, especially when you're reading. Let's see. Let's take a look at the left side first. Let's look at Blake, Tyron, and Redmond. Yeah, Redmond just kind of get whooped there, man. It was a gap exchange, really. It was a gap exchange, or it was supposed to be like a late delayed joint or whatever. 94 is going to work his way to the outside, and he just kind of beats Redmond to the outside. But the outside guy, you know his name. Who cares? The outside guy is going to work his way back inside, and Redmond wasn't there when he was working his way back inside. So Tyron kind of let a guy go, and Redmond just gets beat on the front end of that. What about Connor Williams and Joe Looney? Joe's fine. Joe's just kind of helping out there casually. Connor passes his gap along. Remember last week I was talking about Lael turning the shoulders. This is what I meant. See how Lael turns his shoulders here? Now he can't see. Now he can't see this guy because he just flat out turned the shoulders dealing with this dude. Lael needs to stay square. Pass this guy along to young Connor. Connor could kick with a little more depth here to be able to pick this guy up. So when this guy comes back around, Lael could be there for him. But it is what it is. It didn't work. 4th and 19. And we punt there. All right, cool. Moving on. So let's take a look at this drive here. What's his 1st and 10? Yeah, so it's 1st and 10, fourth quarter. This at the end of the game, really. But 1st and 10, we're on the 24. So let's get into this. See what we got going on here. I think there's going to be a pass to Blake Jarwin. The first one is going to be top of the screen there. Got Blake right here. It's gonna run a little out route, kind of like the same one Beasley ran early in the film session. Cool, but Blake's gonna sit there. It's all good. We convert that. That puts us at 2nd and 4. Moving right on along. Blocks up front. Dak gets hit. Okay, cool. So, could Dak have gotten the ball out to somebody? Let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. Let's move the remote here. What about these guys down here? Could Dak have gotten the ball out to one of them? He definitely sat on that goddamn route. Boy. But Dak was hit by the time he showed his numbers. What about your tight end? Could he have gotten the ball out to the tight end there? Pretty locked up in coverage for the most part. What about up top? Yeah, so he was hit. He was hit by then. So let's get into the cartel view. What happened? Yeah, Redmond just got beat. Yeah, sure, flat out. So one tag. This guy's normally an interior player. Archery's normally an interior player, but they lined him up in a 4 directly over Tyron with a defensive end on the outside. That's really like a 3-4 look. If I was to identify it, I would identify this side as a 3-4 look. Just treat him as a linebacker. But either way, he's 1-on-1 with your man Redmond. So yeah, he's gonna get in. Yeah, he's just gonna run through Redmond there. It's all good. And that turns into 3rd and 14. Boy, what was it down distance before that? Boy, 3rd and 4 is way better than 3rd and 14. So it's us trying to convert 3rd and 14. Hey, man, sometimes you just got to get the ball out to Zeke, see what happens, man. Where was everybody else at? About the same result you would get. Cool. Get the ball out to Zeke. Protection was a little better. But at the end of the day, it's damn still 3rd and 14, fam. That's so ridiculous to try to play your way out of 3rd and 14. And it's 4th and 12. I mean, we're going to go for it. We're not going to kick the field goal. We're going to down the sword. And, hey, man, dump offs just don't work here. So we try to get the ball to Blake Jarwin, big ass. Yeah, it just bounced off his hands, man. Blake is our big target, man. If you're going to be big targets, you got to expect the big, the high passes, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, not to be unfair to Blake because the ball was high, but I mean, it is what it is, 4th and 12 or whatever. But, yeah, that's the end of the game at that point. We won't even get the ball back then. We only had 7 possessions altogether. So it was a pretty trashy game, man. Pretty terrible. It was pretty bad for everybody. But we got a long film week to figure this thing out. Then we're going to move on to Tampa Bay. All right. So ain't really much to say here, though, man. Just we had backups on the offensive line. We had execution problems. And it was some penalties that were thrown in there. And some negative plays really kept us from, converting that. So, team thing, not just, pointing in one direction. It wasn't really play call. I don't mind the play calling. I don't mind the quarterback play. It's just that everything had to come together and be just a tad bit better from everybody to make the thing work. So, I'm not gonna hold y'all too much all day, man. Y'all watch this. Plenty more film to go. I'll probably look at Dak's incompletions and the sacks that he took, kind of break those down a little bit more, or at least the sacks that we didn't show tonight. And take a look at the defense, and we'll move on and get on to Tampa Bay. Film week don't stop, all right? I got a Discord down in there. Y'all follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Y'all know about the Facebook pages, everything else in the ads. Go get a shirt or something. Salute the Cowboys Zone, salute the Cowboys Reddit. Doski Woski, y'all. Peace.